So it's day one of my 10 days of Vlogmas. I am really late. I didn't start on December 1st. I am starting on December 22nd. So I have 10 days left of the year. And I want to record exactly what this year is like, how it progresses, how the end of this year wraps up. So welcome to 10 days of Vlogmas.
Here I'm at Starbucks. I went to write, but sometimes it takes a while for me to get into it. So in the meantime, I watch YouTube videos. This is one of my YouTube friends, Tony Mosey. He does rhyming book reviews of nonfiction books. And this is what it looks like outside. It took me long enough, but I finally wrote the poem. It's entitled Hometown Christmas, and it is about how we use the Christmas celebration and Christmas spirit to mask some of the bad stuff that's happening in our lives. So it is a metaphorical look at how people use paint to cover up the dirt of their lives. And I posted it on my blog, so if you're interested, if you'd like to see the poem in its entirety, I'll put a link in the description box. Look for Hometown Christmas on my blog. I am home. It is Thursday afternoon. It is about 2:20 something, and I am doing laundry. I'm home for the rest of the week. I'm doing some admin stuff. When I was in college, I had this friend who, on the days when he would stay home and not go to class, and he'd say, "Oh, I'm home, I'm doing my admin stuff." And so every time I take a day, like I'm home for a day and I'm doing, housework, cleaning, decluttering, spending some time just getting my blog ready or my writing or something, I say, "Oh, I'm doing admin stuff." So today I'm doing my pre-Christmas admin stuff. I'm heading to the library now. I have some books to return. I finished this book last night, Steve Harvey's Jump. It's pretty similar to this, Act Like a Success, Think Like a Success. This is about discovering your gift. This is about taking a leap of faith to use your gift. So pretty similar themes, but I really enjoyed this because when I read it, it was kind of revolutionary because I hadn't thought about using my gift in some of the situations that I was frequently in. Like I never really thought about how I could use my gift in tutoring kids. This is timely because even though I know the information, I haven't always jumped like he talks about. So it was great to read this last night. There's a section that I just really enjoyed, and I'm gonna share it with you. He says, "The great things in life aren't nearby. They aren't easy to find. And when you do find them, they aren't easy to get. Diamonds aren't lying around on the ground. Pearls aren't sitting there on the grass waiting for you. Diamonds are found deep in the earth. Pearls are at the bottom of the sea. If you want something more in life, life is going to require more from you." Other things I really enjoyed about the book, he spends like the last few pages focused on his relationship with his family. He says, "Stop existing and start living." In this chapter 6, he focuses a lot on the relationship that he has with his current wife, Marjorie. The last part of this book is like a love letter to her. He calls her name like 20 times on each page. I read this book last night. I just sat and kept reading until I was done. It's not that long. It's only about 190 pages. I could read this in a couple of hours, and I did. Maybe about 3 hours or so, I was finished. So if you are wondering whether you should pick it up, I think it's a great read. It's not that much of a time investment. And if you find something in here that inspires you, it's 3 hours well spent. So I really recommend this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So right now I'm doing laundry. I'm heading out to return books and grab some lunch, and I'll be back later. I just came back from the library. I have 6 books that I have to read before the end of the year. So I went to the library specifically to find some small books. So I'll just show you what I picked up. I ended up with 10 books. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to read, but I picked up all of them. So I took The Woman of Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor. That's a novel. This is also a novel, A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest J. Gaines. I have The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom, which is also a novel. I read Tuesdays with Maury. I read this book by him. And this is a small book that I'll be able to get through in an afternoon. I have Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. I read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and I enjoyed that. It's also a short book. It's only 260 something pages. I have Willa Cather's My Antonia, which is a classic. This is a book that I'd love to have in my collection. I don't have a lot of orange books. Book number 6 is In Other Words by Jhumpa Lahiri. I just read Interpreter of Maladies by her, her Pulitzer Prize winning story collection. And this is a book that she wrote in English and Italian. So every page is Italian on one side and the English translation on the other side. So even though this book is 200 and something pages, I can't read Italian, so it's only going to be 100 pages, a little over 100 pages of reading for me. Another small book I found was What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. These are just collected essays from Oprah about random topics, so I don't know, we'll see. Book number 8 is Mr. Potter by Jamaica Kincaid. Jamaica Kincaid, despite what her name says, she's not from Jamaica because she is from Antigua. I've read several of her books and I don't think I've ever read this one. It's a short read. It's another short read and it is less than 200 pages, so that should be easy. Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead. This is a book that I wanted to get to earlier this year and I never did, so I picked it up. I don't know if I'll get to it before the end of 2016, but I have about 3 weeks to read this book before I have to return to the library. So the last book that I got from the library is this thrilling, stunning green book called Is You Okay by Glozell Green. She is one of those YouTube breakout stars. And look at the back. Look at her picture on the back with her green lipstick and her green clothes. I wasn't a regular on YouTube when Glozell was like coming up and getting famous, so I didn't know who she was. But in her time as a YouTube star, she became friends with a host of other internet stars, including Tyler Oakley and Miranda Sings. She got married, conceived a child, and interviewed such luminaries as Hillary Clinton and President Obama. So as I'm talking about Glozell and the fact that she became famous from being a YouTube star, I'll tell you a little story. In the summer, I was downtown one day doing a book signing for my own book. It's complicated, short stories about long relationships. So I was promoting my book and I met this man. He was telling me just how inspired he was that I had written and published my own book and that I will make it big. He was making a prediction about my success and he said, you know, one day you're going to make it really big. I used to follow Glozell, and I was like, who's Glozell? And he said, you don't know who Glozell is? And I was like, no. I felt kind of bad that I didn't know who she was. So then he started to tell me about Glozell, that she was she had a YouTube channel and she was just, you know, being her authentic self, and she became really well known, really popular, and that when she published her book, he had read it. He was comparing me to her and saying, you know, as long as you maintain your voice, it doesn't matter what your background is, what you look like. She probably doesn't have the face or background that you expect a YouTube sensation to have, but she made it. And so when I came home that day, I looked her up and I subscribed to her channel and started watching some of her videos. I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm that crazy and I'm not gonna fake crazy just to make myself popular online. But it was nice to see someone who seemed like they were just being their authentic self and people were responding to it in a positive way. It would be nice to see if she talks about her YouTube experience, because it would be, I'm sure, a little bit of an eye-opener to see how things have changed since she started on YouTube and how things are now that I'm on YouTube myself, because my channel is really young. I've only had my channel now for less than 6 months, so it'd be nice to see how things have changed, hopefully for the better. So it's 11 o'clock at night and I think this is gonna be the end of my footage for today. I have been reading most of the afternoon. I got stood up. I was supposed to meet up with my friend to go do some late night Christmas shopping. It's something we do every year. We go to Macy's when they have their when they open for 24 hours. We usually go get dinner and go to Macy's at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, do some shopping, go get Starbucks, and then go home like in the wee hours of the morning. But this year we didn't get to do it. Just at home, kind of waiting for packages to be delivered, I guess, as our shopping experience gets changed because of Amazon Prime. Everybody has that now. So instead of actually going to the stores, we're just waiting at home for packages to be delivered. So I was home for most of the afternoon. I read this book in one sitting. It's Jeffrey Gitomer's Little Black Book of Connections. So while I was having dinner, I started reading this other book, which is Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. But I'll probably read for a little bit longer. I was waiting for my mom to call before I go to bed. And so tomorrow's the day before Christmas Eve. I still have a ton of Christmas stuff to do. I'm so not prepared for Christmas. Somebody needs to help me. Somebody needs to come to my apartment and decorate it for Christmas. You'll notice that my walls are still kind of blank. I can't even show you around my room because I haven't been doing any decorations. I haven't been doing any cleaning, which is probably why I need to read this book. I need help. I need help. I need a KonMari method to help me to get into the Christmas spirit. So I think that's it for my day one of my version of Vlogmas, which is from December 22nd to December 31st. I'll see you in the morning for day two of my Vlogmas 2.0. I don't know what to call this series yet, so if you have a better idea, please leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I will chat with you tomorrow. Okay, bye.